Castle of Black Iron. By Drunken Tiger. Chapter 291, Lay a Solid Foundation. Looking at the shock in Zhang Tie's eyes, the bamboo woods man revealed a faint smile. Don't be curious about how I know that you are dreaming of becoming an alchemist. It's not telepathy, but a round of calculation by the skill of E. It's just a small trick, no need to be curious about that. Hearing his words, Zhang Tie's heart pounded as he recalled a mysterious oriental profession, augur. It was said that people in this profession could use a calculation skill called E, by which they could predict many things. It was truly a marvelous profession. You're an augur? I'm not an augur. As I've studied the law of E for dozens of years, I just know a bit of it. The bamboo woods man gave a smile as he touched his beard. Hearing his words, Zhang Tai relaxed a bit. If the old man could really see through him and know everything about him at the first sight of him, Zhang Tai might have already been scared away. Since he attended that auction in Kalar City, when he witnessed the power of the alchemists, Zhang Tai had already been greatly moved and thoroughly believed that true heroes should act like alchemists. Having entered the Breaking Heavens department, of course Zhang Tai would not give up on his dream due to only one person's suggestion. Perhaps the Zhang clan of Huayuan Palace could really cultivate powerful rune manufacturers, but compared to the talent of touching a stone to turn it into a piece of gold, the great deterrence that an alchemist could bring to a country was more attractive to Zhang Tai. A guy who could produce horrific thermal bombs and casually change common stones into priceless items was far more than cool. Treasure manufacturer, walking vault, all-purpose stone speaker, thermal weapon converter in cold weapons age, humanoid bomb. When he thought about the reputations of alchemists, Zhang Tai would feel his blood boiling. To be an alchemist was Zhang Tai's greatest dream that he had found since he was born 15 years ago. My dream will not change. What can I learn from you? Zhang Tai looked at that bamboo woods man with expecting eyes. I can only teach you one sentence, lay a solid foundation. After saying this, the bamboo woods man glanced at Zhang Tai before adding, alchemy is the most powerful profession among human beings. Only 1 or 2 out of 100 million people have the ability to stride over the threshold to become an alchemist. Each alchemist is one of the most excellent human beings or has a very exceptional aptitude. If you want to learn from an alchemist, you have to be at least a powerful fighter above LV9. Igniting 34 surge points and becoming a LV9 fighter is the lowest condition to come into contact with alchemy. As you are just LV6, you could not even touch the lowest threshold to be an apprentice of an alchemist. Even if there are chances in front of you, you will be not qualified to touch them. The lowest threshold to be the apprentice of an alchemist is LV9 fighter? Zhang Tai widened his eyes and asked. Of course, each alchemist would always go to the underground world. They have to explore and cultivate in places that are out of commoners' imagination. How could they not even protect themselves? Even though they are LV9 fighters, they could still barely protect themselves, as they are just fighters. The more powerful the profession is, the higher the threshold would be. If you cannot break through the surge points on your spine, your cultivation would be useless. In many powerhouses' eyes, to be a LV9 fighter is just the beginning on the road of cultivation. After saying this, the bamboo woods man revealed a faint smile to Zhang Tai while lying on the soft bed, head inclined. Do you think that LV9 fighters are powerful? Zhang Tai forced a bashful smile. Ever since he was born, he had never encountered a fighter above LV9. When in school, Miss Dana had promised them if anyone could be a LV9 bloody scorpion fighter, she would marry him. Therefore, Zhang Tai always thought that a LV9 fighter was pretty powerful. LV9 was once Zhang Tai's target. As for the ranks after LV9, he really didn't know. This was determined by the knowledge, background, and experience of Zhang Tai. However, according to the Fibonacci number series, there are definitely more powerful ranks after LV9. Can you talk about the ranks after LV9? I'm still confused about the ranks after LV9. When I was in school, we learned that it was related to Fibonacci number series. As the bamboo woods man was in front of him and this lesson was free, Zhang Tai seized this chance and asked in a respectful way. The old man smiled. Most commoners might not be able to reach LV9 in their whole lives. But in the eyes of the truly powerful men, a LV9 fighter is just someone who has ignited 34 surge points on their spine. He or she has only just entered the ranks of cultivators. When you ignite 55 surge points, you will be a strong fighter. When you ignite 89 surge points, you will be a fighting master. When you ignite 144 surge points, you will be a great fighting master. When you ignite 233 surge points, you will be a fighting spirit. When you ignite 377 surge points, you will be a fighting monster. When you ignite 610 surge points, namely when you have ignited all the surge points, you will be a fighting general. The bamboo woodsman patiently explained. It turns out that with the exception of the shrine surge point, there are 610 more surge points. Zhang Tai mumbled. As he realized that he had just ignited 20 surge points out of the 610, Zhang Tai started to ooze cold sweat. Even if he was a LV9 fighter and had ignited 34 surge points on his spine, he would still have 576 surge points to ignite. Yesterday, when he reached LV6, Zhang Tai was very pleased about that. However, now, Zhang Tai finally knew that compared to those surge points that he had not ignited, his current achievement was just the first step for a long march. Precisely, in the eyes of many powerful men, in the stage of igniting surge points, namely during the process that you ignite all the surge points before you reach LV15. To a greater extent, the 15 levels could be divided into fighter, strong fighter, fighting master, great fighting master, fighting spirit, fighting monster, and fighting general. Of course, each rank could be further divided. Do you understand why a LV9 fighter is only the lowest threshold to be an alchemist? I know. My current strength does not even reach the lowest threshold to be an alchemist. Hearing his words, Zhang Tai didn't feel frustrated at all. Instead, he just calmed down with a great ambition rising up from inside him once again. Is there any greater existence after the fighting general? Of course, it will come to knights after the fighting ranks. You don't need to know about knights now. Sometimes, it might be not good for a young man to know too many things as you might lose your motivation. The bamboo woodsman stared at Zhang Tai with wise eyes. I could only tell you that many top alchemists are above knights themselves. You said nobody in Hidden Dragon Palace and Zhang clan could help me to become an alchemist. What about the entire Wei subcontinent? Will I be able to find someone who can help me become an alchemist there? Zhang Tai still didn't give up. No. Why? Zhang Tai became surprised. Because the inheritance of alchemists is different from common inheritance, as the first one involves abhasika, which is a sophisticated and deep inheritance ceremonial pattern that can only be mastered by alchemists who have reached a certain level. As there are few alchemists, let alone those master alchemists. Although there are some alchemists in the entire Wei subcontinent, not one of them would be able to carry out abhasika. Abhasika? It was Zhang Tai's first time to hear this word. He had not imagined that the inheritance pattern of alchemists was so rarely seen. You mean that the alchemists in the entire Wei subcontinent basically adopted abhasika in other areas? Almost. According to my knowledge, including the alchemists of Jinyun country, none of the alchemists in Wei subcontinent adopted abhasika in Wei subcontinent. There are too few alchemists who can carry out abhasika in human beings. How can I gain the abhasika inheritance of alchemists then? It depends on two things, fortune and real strength. Fortune is uncontrollable, yet real strength is under your control. The bamboo woodsman smiled. Although you cannot gain such a fortune in Hidden Dragon Palace, it could grant you the real strength to be close to fortune. Am I clear? Thanks, I'm clear. Zhang Tai nodded as he made the decision inside. You can ask me another question. The old man reminded him. As I've awakened the precise throwing skill, I would like to know how I can further improve it so as to gain a new ability. Besides gaining the old man's guidance on the direction one should develop in and their future ambitions, each person who came here could also ask him about how to improve their ancestral bloodline. This was a very precious opportunity, which was almost equal to a gift that Breaking Heavens department sent to each newbie. Of course Zhang Tai would not give up such a good opportunity. After several minutes, With the method to further improve his precise throwing, Zhang Tai respectfully left. At the same time, he heard a faint snore from the bamboo woods man lying on the soft bed. When Zhang Tai stood outside the small building, he bowed towards it before leaving. He had not imagined that he could improve his precise throwing in this way. On the way back, Zhang Tai thought about the method as was told by the old man. He then felt it very inconceivable. The information on alchemists was also precious to Zhang Tai. If you don't break through the surge points on your spine, your cultivation would be useless. Lay a solid foundation. Zhang Tai mumbled, not realizing that he had been surrounded by some women who did not look kind. Chapter 292, Curriculum. Those who surrounded Zhang Tai were all older than him and between the ages of 18 and 20. In black uniforms, they looked pretty cool. Additionally, as they usually did sports, they all had very hot figures. Of course, if he wasn't being glared at by them, Zhang Tai would really enjoy being surrounded by so many women. Are you that mean, shameless, lecherous, and sinister Zhang Tai? F***ck, is that a greeting? Zhang Tai carefully looked at them as he really could not remember whether there was any relation between him and them. However, they looked like they'd caught a person, who owed them several hundred coins, wandering around in a brothel. I'm sorry, you've got the wrong person, I'm not the person that you want. After saying this, Zhang Tai immediately walked away. Seeing Zhang Tai walking away, they obviously became stunned as they had not imagined that Zhang Tai would deny his identity. Not until Zhang Tai had walked several steps away did those women realize what had happened and surrounded Zhang Tai once again with contemptuous looks. Are you our man or not? Don't you dare to admit your status? That's it, how could such a person enter the Hidden Dragon Palace? Dare you say that you are not Zhang Tai? The women then started to mock Zhang Tai. As for whether I'm a man, the most qualified one to answer this is my woman. You're not my woman, therefore, you are not qualified to ask that question. With arms crossed, Zhang Tai remained smiling. You're right, I'm Zhang Tai. It's just a common name as many people are given this name. But I don't know about that mean, shameless, lecherous, and sinister Zhang Tai you mentioned. You must have found the wrong person. If you were looking for the fair, handsome, kind, and generous Zhang Tai, here I am. Humph. A woman replied with a cold harumph, truly as said by those sisters in Jixing department, you are eloquent. No crap. We are looking for you. Why are you looking for me, senior sisters? Do you know the rules for newbies when they enter Breaking Heaven's department? What rules? Zhang Tai asked even though he already knew. Okay, I will tell you. We found you today to notify you that we have applied to be your training guides on 2 compulsory subjects for fighters, namely the basic moving skills and shield defense skills. When you have enough clan donation points and want to learn the 2 compulsory subjects, we will spare some time to guide you well. One of them said as she emphasized the word guide, indicating a malicious intention. I'm afraid that you have not even skimmed over your curriculum. You will know it when you see it. Humph, don't beg us for forgiveness then. Let's go. Another one of them glared at Zhang Tai before making a cold harumph and turning her head. Closely following her, the other proud women then turned around and left. Twiddling his mustache with his hand, Zhang Tai watched their faintly twisting and rhythmic butts and finally understood a fact. He didn't know when, but his good reputation as the public enemy of female students in Jixing department seemed to have spread to the Breaking Heavens department, as they had already found him trouble on the first day when he came here to register. After knowing that he could easily form Iron Blood Battle Chi, those LV7 little girls still dared to find him trouble. It meant that they must have something to back their confidence. There might be something eccentric and mysterious in the 2 compulsory fighting courses. Never mind. Just wait. This father doesn't believe that those little girls could queue up to bite me. If they truly have stirred me up, I will fiercely whip their butts. After glaring at their swaying butts, Zhang Tai forcefully swallowed his saliva and returned to his room in the Songtao Pavilion. This time, when he came back, there was already a magazine-like book on the top of the message box which was installed on his door. Zhang Tai took a look at it and noticed a line of big words on the cover of it, a brief introduction on the arrangement of the compulsory courses in the Breaking Heavens Department of Hidden Dragon Palace and elective courses. In the following hour, Zhang Tai was studying this book, during which time he started to have a deeper understanding on the Breaking Heavens Department. With the exception of special situations, newbies had to meet the following conditions before officially leaving the Breaking Heavens Department. Condition 1, one should reach at least LV9 and ignite 34 surge points on one's spine. This was the lowest requirement. Condition 2, males have to reach 20 years old and undergo the capping ceremony. Females have to reach 20 years old and undergo gyri. This was the lowest requirement on age. Condition 3, one should pass all the compulsory courses and subjects in Breaking Heavens Department. This was the lowest requirement on ability. The first two requirements were easy for Zhang Tai to meet, however, the last requirement really dumbfounded him. He finally understood why the people in the Breaking Heavens Department were so busy all day long. Take his cousin for example. Besides being busy making money, Zhang Su was also busy earning clan donation points. Damn, it turned out that all the compulsory courses and subjects had tuition fees of gold coins and clan donation points. Additionally, so many cultural courses were included in those compulsory subjects besides pure cultivation. At the sight of those compulsory cultural courses, Zhang Tai instantly became even more dumbfounded. General History of Human Beings, compulsory course, payment, 10 gold coins. A study on the two holy wars between human beings and demons, compulsory course. Payment, 20 gold coins and 20 clan donation points. A study on the political systems in the countries across the Wei subcontinent, compulsory course, payment, 15 gold coins and 5 clan donation points. General Introduction on the Human Culture of Continents, compulsory course, payment, 10 gold coins. Geography, compulsory course, payment, 10 gold coins. The Science on the Inside of Earth, compulsory course, payment, 20 gold coins and 20 clan donation points. War Geography, compulsory course, payment, 10 gold coins. An exploration on the technical development in different industries in the Black Iron Age. Compulsory course, payment, 10 gold coins and 5 clan donation points. The Great Brilliant Charter, compulsory course, payment, 1 gold coin. Practice on Business Group Management and Trade, compulsory course, payment, 100 gold coins and 100 clan donation points. Clan System and the Wealth of Nations, compulsory course, payment, 5 gold coins. Military Strategies, compulsory course, payment, 50 gold coins and 50 clan donation points. How to be a qualified battlefield commander, compulsory course, payment, 30 gold coins and 30 clan donation points. Survival Skills in Extreme Environments, compulsory course, payment, 15 gold coins and 15 clan donation points. Music, compulsory course, payment, 10 gold coins. Those cultural subjects were basically all the high-end knowledge that Zhang Tai hadn't touched before, which covered history, politics, geography, culture, and military. There were 20 cultural subjects in total. After taking a serious look, Zhang Tai realized that with the exception of Hebrew that he had already learned, he would need learn all the other cultural courses. However, for commoners, too much money was required to learn all these courses. If he referred to the previous income of his family in Black Hot City, his whole family might not be able to pay for those courses even after 30 years of work, if the clan donation points were not included. In a contrast, the expense of those compulsory cultivation courses was even more amazing. However, there were only a few cultivation courses, namely, basic moving steps, basic swordsmanship, shield defense skills, preliminary archery, flying skills, and horsemanship. Advanced cultivation courses were not included in compulsory courses, but in elective courses. Reading them, Zhang Tai's eyes radiated a gleaming light. As he turned each page, he would forcefully swallow his saliva. 31 battle chi ranging from middle-class battle chi to high-end battle chi were available. 17 swordsmanship were available. 9 marksmanship were available. 56 palm skills, fist skills, and finger skills were available. 8-leg skills were available. 4 secret methods that could be used to improve spiritual energy were available. 3 secret methods on polishing surge points by spiritual energy were available. Over 100 kinds of secret knowledge, fighting skills, eccentric weapons, and even poisoning skills were available. Some of the elective courses made Zhang Tai more stunned: advanced courses on professions like alchemy, rune manufacturing, tricks master, beast training, feng shui architecture, and tactical deployment master. The elective courses on alchemy progressed from herbal apprentice, knapsack pharmacist, and bottle suspending alchemist, which were also the 3 stages to be an alchemist. The elective courses on rune manufacturing progressed from craftsman apprentice, craftsman to copper hammer craftsman, which were also the 3 stages to be a rune manufacturer. The elective courses of all the other professions all included the first 2 to 4 stages of them. Of course, one had to pay a lot for these courses. It would take 2,000 gold coins and 1,000 clan donation points to choose the craftsman apprentice, the first stage to be a rune manufacturer. This was a huge amount of money. At this moment, Zhang Tai was once again shocked by the great power and background of the Zhang clan of Huayuan Palace. The whole Hidden Dragon Palace was like the clan elite school of the Zhang clan, where the Zhang clan could cultivate some special professions. What a great power! Scanning this curriculum, Zhang Tai recalled those women who applied to be his training guides. He then smiled and knew that he would be busy in the Breaking Heavens department from then on. Chapter 293, Use the Dead as a Mirror. People in Breaking Heaven department were free to arrange their learning and cultivation courses. Nobody would force you to do anything. As long as you could afford 30 gold coins a month on Hidden Dragon Island, you could even treat Breaking Heavens department as a senior island and live here for the rest of your life. But it was not possible for you to casually leave the Hidden Dragon Island before finishing all of your courses. In the Breaking Heaven department, besides learning and cultivation, you had to accomplish some mandatory courses that you had freely chosen. You could make money or clan contribution points through doing these clan tasks. You might also be able to legally leave the island to finish some tasks on the continent. However, all the tasks that required one to leave the island were of great difficulty. Some of them were even very dangerous. 2/3 of the clan apprentices who lost their lives when cultivating in the Breaking Heaven department were killed when they left Hidden Dragon Island to do clan tasks. Breaking Heaven department was a school, an army, and a furnace. It had 2 sides, the free side and the hard side. The temperature here could sublime you or turn you into residue and ashes. If you don't want to be residue and ashes, the only thing you could do was work harder, harder, and even harder. You would have no other choice but to constantly grit your teeth and grow more powerful. On the first night when he entered the Breaking Heaven department, Zhang Tai had received his first mandatory task. When Zhang Tai was still in the room, someone directly pushed the first task letter under the door to his room. It was such a funny task, to do cleaning for 1 week, by which he could gain 5 clan contribution points. This was the first tasks for everyone that entered the Breaking Heaven department. At the beginning, Zhang Tai felt this task was hilarious. But soon, he changed his mind as he was going to clean the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion in the Breaking Heaven department. Elite Sacrifice Pavilion was a shrine in Breaking Heaven's pavilion that was used to honor those clan members who sacrificed themselves or died during cultivation in the Breaking Heaven department. At 6 a.m. the next morning, according to regulations, Zhang Tai had already arrived at the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion when the dawn had just arrived. There was only one senior who was guarding the entrance. After Zhang Tai arrived, the old man brought Zhang Tai into the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion. As soon as he entered the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion, Zhang Tai had noticed many spirit tablets, which frightened him greatly. The Elite Sacrifice Pavilion will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Therefore, you'd better come here 3 hours before it opens. It is composed of 3 floors, each floor holds 1183 spirit tablets. You need to clean all the floors, handrails, windows, and spirit tablets. After it closes in the evening, you should also clean it one more time. After that, I will check it. If you cannot clean it well, you will have to do it again. During opening hours, if anyone wants to worship here, you should also keep it clean from time to time. The old man took Zhang Tai around the elite sacrifice pavilion as he told Zhang Tai how to clean and what to take care of. Finally, he guided Zhang Tai into the tools room. After explaining to Zhang Tai how to use the tools, the old man let out a sigh. Alas, the latest spirit tablet was placed 2 months ago. They were all young men. Saying this, the old man shook his head as he left, leaving the elite sacrifice pavilion to Zhang Tai. Trying to recover his composure, Zhang Tai started to clean. Although he had killed people and seen blood before, he was still a bit frightened when he cleaned the spirit tablets and caught sight of the black and white photos on the stony spirit tablets. On the positive side of each spirit tablet was a photo and a name. On the back of each spirit tablet was a simple introduction on that person's life experiences. A person's life was recorded in only a few lines: one's parents, the year one entered Hidden Dragon Palace, one's events, why one died at an early age. Each person had curiosity. After he gradually became less frightened, when he cleaned each spirit tablet, Zhang Tai couldn't stand but take a look at the life experiences and cause of death of the people on the back of the spirit tablets. Unless one didn't want to see the words on the spirit tablets, you would always notice them. The more he cleaned, the more he saw. Gradually, Zhang Tai started to form in strange mood. Although they lived in different ways when they were alive, they all died due to numerous causes. Some were born to be talents, who had awakened many kinds of ancestral bloodlines and had reached level 10 at the age of 17 to 18 were meant to be powerful fighters. Finally, during their cultivation, they didn't listen to others' advice and wanted to break through a certain cultivation bottleneck, which caused them to be possessed by a devil and to spit out blood before death. Some were average. After entering the Hidden Dragon Palace, he or she couldn't stand the rapid rhythm here and was gradually lagged far away by others. He or she then complained every day and finally died due to frustration and grief. Some overestimated their real strength when they accepted clan tasks. As a result, they died when they executed their tasks. Some became kind and hesitated when they carried out some special tasks. However, after they forgave the enemy, they were killed. Some died on some occasions due to carelessness when they were carrying out common tasks. Some already had deep enmity with others before they entered the Hidden Dragon Palace. Finally, they were killed by their enemy. Some had gained great progress after cultivating in the Hidden Dragon Palace for many years. They were so ambitious that when he returned home and gathered with their previous partners, they violently showed off. After being drunk, they were set up and killed by some of their previous partners who were jealous of them. Some always bullied their junior brothers and classmates due to their family background and were finally killed purposefully with the excuse of it being a mistake during a sparring exercise. Some were innocent. Being lured by the others, they violated the regulations of Hidden Dragon Palace by selling intelligence of Breaking Heaven Department and were finally killed. Some were troubled by love affairs in the Breaking Heavens Department and were finally killed. Some directly disappeared when they entered the underground world or dived in the sea for exploration. After cleaning all the spirit tablets, Zhang Tai was so scared that he even oozed a cold sweat. The 1183 spirit tablets were definitely live textbooks which told you how to leave Hidden Dragon Palace alive. Zhang Tai finally knew why there were not too many rules in the Breaking Heaven Department and why his first task in Breaking Heaven Department was to clean the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion. Because all the rules of Breaking Heaven Department were in the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion. Each name and each story on each spirit tablet could work as a mirror for people to reflect themselves. During the next week, Zhang Tai almost lived in the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion. He would come here to clean at 6 a.m. and did another round of cleaning after 9 p.m. when it was closed before returning to his room in the Songtao Pavilion. As no one arrived there during the day, Zhang Tai would always stay in the Elite Sacrifice Pavilion and gaze at the spirit tablets as he thought about the stories on the spirit tablets. He then always asked himself, if that was him, would make the same mistake? Why would he make such a mistake? How could he avoid making such a mistake? It was a process to constantly ask and reflect on himself. Although the other people considered it pretty boring in this gloomy place, Zhang Tai had different achievements each day. Through constant reflection, Zhang Tai found that he became more mature mentally. 1 week soon passed. In that evening, before he left the elite's sacrifice pavilion, Zhang Tai seriously cleaned each corner and each spirit tablet in the elite's sacrifice pavilion. After that, he arranged his clothes and washed his hands. He then burned 3 incense sticks and bowed towards the spirit tablets 3 times on the first floor before inserting the incense sticks into the incense table. Dear senior brothers and sisters, this younger brother has accompanied you for 1 week. I will not come here tomorrow. Thanks for your lessons. As this place is not big enough, I'm sure that I will not strive for a place here with you. When in festivals and the new year comes, I, Zhang Tai, will definitely come here to bring you enough paper notes. This kid is teachable. A sound drifted from behind Zhang Tai as the old gatekeeper who should have long went to bed at this time had already stood behind Zhang Tai. Zhang Tai turned back and saw that hunchback old man touching his mustache and smiling at him. Kid, you really have a nice consciousness and a good heart. If you have troubles, later on, come here and have a look. Think it over carefully. No disasters could match death in the secular world. Once alive, one will always be able to handle it. If one dies, one wouldn't able to handle it any longer. The old man watched Zhang Tai as he satisfactorily nodded and talked to Zhang Tai. Yes, I've remembered it. You can leave now. Don't come here tomorrow. It's not early, go to bed soon. The old man said as he patted 3 times on Zhang Tai's shoulders and left. When Zhang Tai returned to his room in Songtao Pavilion, it was already 12 a.m. After washing up, Zhang Tai lay on the bed and prepared to sleep. However, only after a while, Zhang Tai suddenly recalled a fairy tale told by Donder. The protagonist of the fairy tale was a monkey. When the monkey went to learn skills, his immortal master knocked 3 times on his head. The monkey suddenly realized the meaning of his master and silently slid to his immortal master's room at 3 a.m. and truly got the true knowledge. Did it mean that the old man had the same meaning by patting his shoulders 3 times? Thinking of it this way, Zhang Tai instantly became awake. Is that old man a great powerhouse who lives in seclusion in Hidden Dragon Palace? Did he pat me to test whether I'm smarter than a monkey? Therefore, when it was 2:30 a.m., Zhang Tai got up and put on his clothes. Being a bit thrilled, Zhang Tai fumbled in the darkness and silently arrived in front of the elite's sacrifice pavilion several minutes before 3 a.m. However, after standing outside the elite's sacrifice pavilion and hearing tweets of insects for quite a while, Zhang Tai saw nobody at all. Finally, he arrived outside the small room where the old man slept. He heard the old man's snores from time to time. Standing there for quite a while, Zhang Tai then shook his head and forced a smile before returned to his room in Songtao Pavilion and had a good sleep. The next morning, when Zhang Tai woke up, he took his clan plate and rushed into the task center on the 2nd floor of the middle castle. These days, as this mandatory task had occupied all of his time, Zhang Tai's plan to further evolve his ancestral bloodline was delayed. After this task was accomplished, Zhang Tai had a decent amount of free time. He felt it was the right time to evolve his ancestral bloodline and was very excited about it. Chapter 294, Yiksha in the Sea. You've already completed the first 1-week task in the elite's sacrifice pavilion and gained 5 more clan contribution points, making it 55 points in total. Can I do anything else for you? A beautiful young girl standing behind a service window in the task assignment hall on the 2nd floor of the middle castle enthusiastically asked Zhang Tai. No, thanks. I'd like to look around. As soon as he finished the mandatory LV6 task, Zhang Tai suddenly felt as free as a bird in the sky and a fish in the ocean. From then on, he could freely manage his time before he reached LV7. Zhang Tai really liked this feeling. Fine, the task board is over there. If you need any help, just come here and ask me. These young girls on the 2nd floor were much better at talking compared to those stubborn scholars downstairs. Their words sounded much more comfortable. When he took his clan plate back, returned by that beautiful young girl behind the window from that machine slot, Zhang Tai saw another cousin of Breaking Heaven department walking out of a door on one side of the task hall. What's that small room for? Zhang Tai casually asked. The clan's secret tasks are assigned there. They are not open to the public. Only one person could enter at a time. Secret task? Zhang Tai was attracted. Can I enter now? You need to reach LV7 at least. Additionally, you have to pass all the compulsory modules before taking on a secret task. Okay, thanks. It wouldn't be difficult for Zhang Tai to reach LV7. However, when he recalled the 6 compulsory courses, fundamental moves, fundamental swordsmanship, shield defense skill, preliminary archery, flying skills, and horsemanship, Zhang Tai let out a deep sigh. Based on his current conditions, he had enough gold to buy these compulsory courses. However, he had too few clan contribution points. It turned out that he had to spend a lot of time to gain more clan contribution points. I will have a look at the open task notice board to see whether I can do some tasks to gain clan contribution points. Thinking of this, Zhang Tai left the reception desk and moved to the open task notice board to carefully read it. Island patrol, 8 hours a day, 15 days for each task. 30 clan contribution points as a reward. Security officer around 5 towns. Be stationed in 5 towns, being responsible for maintaining order in towns by punishing troublemakers. 7 days for each task. 50 clan contribution points as a reward. LV7 and above is required. Scouts in Dragon Cave. Explore deep into the inside of Dragon Cave to pay close attention to any abnormal situations and relevant intelligence in the underground world. 7 days for each task. 70 clan contribution points and 7 gold coins as a reward. LV8 and above is required. Zhang Tai glanced over at the notice board one column after another. He started to frown as he didn't like most of those tasks or didn't meet the requirements of those he favored. All of a sudden, Zhang Tai noticed a task on the notice board. Yiksha in the sea, being responsible for patrolling in the sea near the pearl field of the hidden dragon island by driving away sharks and other dangerous maritime living beings. When huge maritime creatures get too close to the pearl field, Yiksha should promptly send a warning. 7 days for each task. 60 clan contribution points as a reward. Note, task receivers should pass an on-site examination. That's it. Zhang Tai became highly spirited. This was the ideal task in his mind. For Zhang Tai, with this task, he could both gain clan contribution points and continue to absorb seawater to increase basic energy storage in the Castle of Black Iron without having to be afraid of being noticed. Besides, he could also stimulate the growth of iron body fruit. It's really like killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Zhang Tai then jubilantly ran towards the task handling counter and officially applied for the task to be a Yiksha. Although this task could also be done by LV6 people, it requires excellent swimming skills. Even many LV7 ones could not do it. Are you sure you want to apply for this task? The young woman behind the counter kindly asked. Yeah, I'm sure. Fine, you can have a test at the Long-Wind Pearl Field to the east of the Hidden Dragon Island in the afternoon. If you are qualified, this task will begin tomorrow. Good, thanks. After completing his application, Zhang Tai turned around and left the task assignment hall on the 2nd floor of Middle Castle. When he went downstairs, he encountered a familiar man. Zhang Tai. At the sight of Zhang Tai, Lu Shi instantly showed a big smile. I was completing tasks outside these past few days and was only just told that you had already entered the Breaking Heaven department a week ago. I was thinking about inviting you for a dinner. Thinking of the meeting between him and Lu Shi when they met in the Black Dragon Town several days ago, Zhang Tai also smiled. I thought senior brother Lu had already forgotten about it. Haha, how could I forget about that? Are you free at the moment? Hearing Lu Shi's words, Zhang Tai realized that he wanted to make friends with him. As Lu Shi left a good impression on Zhang Tai, of course, Zhang Tai was willing to accept his invitation. I've just finished the task in the Elite's Sacrifice Pavilion, so I'm free for the next couple of days. I will be there whenever you call me. Seeing that Zhang Tai's attitude towards him was the same as the first time he met him even after miraculously forming Iron Blood Battle Chi and shocking the entire Hidden Dragon Palace, Lucy started to respect Zhang Tai even more inside. Once Zhang Tai left Hidden Dragon Island, he would definitely be prominent and gain a high position in the Zhang clan. That's fine. How about having a gathering with some of my friends in the Ocean Hotel in White Dragon Town tomorrow night? We'll drink until dawn. Lucy happily said. Sure. Oh, have you got a new task? Yeah, I got one, Yiksha in the sea. I'm heading for the Long-Wind Pearl Field to test my swimming skill. Haha, brother, you really have a great talent. Few people across the Hidden Dragon Palace could do this task. I'm just going over to try the test. It depends whether I can pass it. Zhang Tai modestly said. Lucy revealed a smile. Brother, based on your swimming skills when you were picking navy blue iron ores from the deep oceanic trenches, I definitely believe that you will pass it. After chatting for a while, they agreed to meet to drink alcohol tomorrow night before going their separate ways. After leaving the middle castle, Zhang Tai didn't immediately go to the Long-Wind Pearl Field to test his swimming skill. Instead, he first went to the secret knowledge pavilion in the Hidden Dragon Palace. This brat again. At the sight of Zhang Tai, who was stealthily appearing outside the door of the secret knowledge pavilion, the old man who was drinking tea in a green robe instantly widened his eyes and blew up his beard. Last time, this green-robed old man had said so many words, only to be treated as a no-paid teacher by Zhang Tai and choked by Zhang Tai's response. Therefore, the old man had a deep impression on Zhang Tai. Haha, you look good, old man. Seeing his bad look, Zhang Tai hurriedly flattered him. The old man lowered his head as he used a spoon to move the tea leaves in the cup and kept his mouth tightly closed. Having not imagined that old man was that narrow-minded, Zhang Tai put it straight. I want to learn medium-level fish-like diving skill. When he came here last time, Zhang Tai knew that medium-level fish-like diving skill required 50 clan contribution points. Unlike the preliminary level, the medium-level fish-like diving skill involved the application of battle chi underwater. Therefore, only those who had reached LV6 could learn it. Now that he wanted to take the task, Zhang Tai felt that it was necessary for him to upgrade his diving skill in case others had doubts about him if he performed well as a person who had only just learned the preliminary fish-like diving skill. This time, compared to the preliminary fish-like diving skill, Zhang Tai had a much easier time learning the medium-level fish-like diving skill. It only took him less than 40 minutes to master it. What he needed to do was only to practice it adroitly. After learning the medium-level fish-like diving skill, Zhang Tai directly walked out of the Hidden Dragon Palace and arrived at the Long-Wind Pearl Field, which was over 10 kilometers away from Hidden Dragon Palace. A castle with a perimeter of more than 500 m was established on the hillside near the sea, which was over 30 m away from the corner of the wall of the castle. There were some smaller buildings surrounding the castle. On some of the reefs below the castle, there was a place which was used to anchor boats. Zhang Tai also saw some boats on the sea a bit further away. The girls of the Zhixing department were constantly jumping off and climbing onto the boats with something in their hands. It was an extreme form of training and a test for girls to pick up pearls in the sea. Looking at the several big words Long-Wind Pearl Field above the coastal castle, Zhang Tai didn't hesitate to enter the castle. After clarifying his intention to the manager of the Long-Wind Pearl Field, Zhang Tai was taken to start the test. That person took Zhang Tai onto a boat below the castle. With a small triangle sail erected on the boat, they soon arrived at a place on the sea which was about 2 miles away from the castle. It's deeper than 100 m here. There's a tiny iron octopus at the bottom of the sea. It swims fast. If you can get one iron octopus in 2 hours, you will pass the test. Then, you can come here to officially join the team of Yikshas. How many Yikshas do we have in this sea area? Only me? Zhang Tai asked as he took off his clothes on the boat. We have 4. This sea area requires at least 4 Yikshas to ensure the safety of those girls from Hidden Dragon Palace and the pearl-picking girls in our pearl field. 3 of them are from Hidden Dragon Palace, while the other is an old man in our pearl field. If you pass the test, our old man will retire. After all, he's too old and cannot match you young men. Zhang Tai nodded. After taking off his clothes, that person gave Zhang Tai a mask that could cover the greater part of his face. Here's the deep-sea diving goggles. Once you take it, you will be able to dive as deep as 400 m. This pair of diving goggles might prevent your eyes from being hurt by the octopus ink. If you can't complete the task, return as soon as possible. Don't force yourself. Do you need diving shoes? No, thanks. Zhang Tai shook his head while that person gave him a thumbs up. After putting on the diving goggles, Zhang Tai adjusted them before diving into the water with a net in hand. After anchoring the boat and lowering the sail, the man sat on the boat quietly. He then took out a stick of tobacco and watched the pearl-picking boat in the distance while faintly narrowing his eyes. Iron octopuses liked to stay in the deep water zone. They responded so fast that as soon as any danger drew close to them, they would escape. They swam very quickly underwater and could reach as fast as 35 kilometers per hour. If one wanted to be a yiksha, he had to be able to catch iron octopus alive underwater. Yikshas catch iron octopuses. This was an old rule on selecting yiksha that had been used for several hundred years. Yiksha was an honor for men with good swimming skills. The alleged water ghost, 1, was nothing in front of a yiksha in the sea. I really wonder how long could that young man stay underwater. It will be a tough challenge for him to catch a live iron octopus in 2 hours. Sitting on the boat, the uncle took a mouthful of tobacco as he waited for Zhang Tai to come out of the water to take another breath. However, before he finished that stick of tobacco, with a sound of bada, the net that he had given Zhang Tai was thrown into the cabin of the boat. While the boat was slightly swaying, Zhang Tai popped his head out of the water while supporting himself on the side of the boat. These little things are really agile. I only got 3. Look, are these iron octopuses? Zhang Tai revealed a big, innocent smile. The uncle fixed his eyes on the 3 iron octopus with his mouth widely open while his tobacco dropped out of his hand. 1. Water ghost is a kind of animal or ghost that lurks in water to hug swimmers or divers and drag them into the water to drown them. It's always mentioned by old men in China. However, few people has seen it. Chapter 295, Preparations. After smoothly passing the test on yiksha in the sea, being close to the long-wind pearl field, Zhang Tai returned to Hidden Dragon Palace. After eating lunch in the Breaking Heavens department, Zhang Tai returned to his own residence before going to the items department with money. Previously, when Zhang Tai came to the items department, he was here to submit navy blue iron ores. This time, he was here to prepare for the first evolution of his ancestral bloodline. He needed to order something here. It was boisterous in the items department. The blast furnace in the department was emitting hot waves. Over 100 people were here. Zhang Tai could hear the sound of knocking iron instruments everywhere. Some of those people were his senior brothers in the Breaking Heavens department. It's not that easy to be a craftsman apprentice. Do you think that it's like girls' embroidery? The moment he entered the second gate of the items department, he had already heard a loud, rude shout. Hold the heavy hammer and maintain your strength and rhythm. Have you seen the steam-driven forging hammer? When you can keep outputting a steady level of strength for 12 hours straight like that machine, I will teach you something new. If you cannot even match a machine, how can you dream to be a rune manufacturer? Although he didn't know who was being scolded in the courtyard, hearing the acrid words, Zhang Tai was also frightened as he shrugged his shoulders. It's so difficult to be a rune manufacturer, what about being an alchemist then? As is expected, each step towards the top professions is pretty difficult. After passing the exterior of the items department, Zhang Tai directly came to the weapons store in the decor area. It was a 5-floor pavilion. The higher the floor was, the more expensive the items being sold would be. Because Zhang Tai didn't need very expensive items, he just took a look around the first floor in the weapons store. When he was in the Iron Blood camp, Zhang Tai had visited the arsenal of the Iron Horn Army twice, therefore, he knew weapons well. Only after a look around on the first floor, Zhang Tai had been surprised as even the common weapons on the first floor were obviously better than those lieutenant-level weapons in the arsenal of the Iron Horn Army of the Norman Empire. Each item here was of top quality in the Iron Horn Army. The first floor of the weapons store covered several hundred square meters, which was filled with rows of weapon hangars. On the hangars, there were all sorts of weapons like sabers, spears, swords, halberds, axes, tomahawks, hooks, forks, soft whips, hard, iron, whips, hammers, claws, tangs, a weapon that was composed of a stick handle and a half-moon-like head with a pike between the two wings of the half-moon, sticks, shuas, a heavy weapon for cavalry, which is the heavy and elite type of long spear, maces, iron or wooden crutches and bolas. Zhang Tai didn't even know some of their names. Perhaps it was a man's nature, as when Zhang Tai saw the sparkling weapons, he felt his adrenaline surging heavily as his eyes started to shine. When Zhang Tai stood in front of a 2m longer weird, horrible battle sword which was hung on a hanger and recalled his man's certificate, one person had already walked in front of him. "Junior brother, are you choosing weapons?" Zhang Tai looked at him and found it was a senior brother in Breaking Heaven's department. "Yes, I want to buy something here." "Hee, take a look slowly. If you have enough money, you can choose something better on the second floor. Each weapon over there is more than 100 gold coins. Each item on the third floor is worth more than 500 gold coins. Each on the fourth floor is worth more than 3,000 gold coins. As all the items on the fifth floor are rune weapons, I don't suggest you to take a look there, as they are so expensive they'll make you lose your passion for life." Hearing the senior brother's words, Zhang Tai burst out laughing. "Senior brother, are you also here to be a rune manufacturer?" "Not that easy." The youth then forced a bitter smile. "I'm not even a craftsman apprentice now. I've just hammered in the ironware processing workshop for half a year. After passing the test, I was dispatched here to be familiar with the quality, duration, material, forging techniques, design ideas, and styles of each weapon on the first floor. At the same time, I can also look after the store for the manager. Not just being a waste." "You are so modest, senior brother. Many people are not even qualified to look after this store even if they wanted to." "Oh, junior brother, which weapon do you want? I can provide some suggestions for you." "I want to have a look at the long spears or javelins." "Thrown weapons? Come here, I will show you these weapons." The senior brother then led Zhang Tai to another hangar, on which some javelins were displayed. Zhang Tai casually took one and had a try. That familiar sense reappeared. These javelins were definitely of the best quality that Zhang Tai had ever seen. The body of the javelin was designed in terms of aerodynamics. It consisted of several sections, each of which had different thicknesses, giving it an obscure but beautiful look. "Senior brother, what's the price of these javelins?" "The javelins here are all sold by group. Each group contains 9 javelins and is equipped with a backpacked metal container. Each group weighs 116 kilograms in total. They are very powerful. The price of each group of javelins is 34 gold coins. You can also have a look at this one." Saying this, the senior brother took out a short javelin. With a casual handshake, the 30 centimeters javelin instantly became longer than 1 m. This is the hidden type telescopic javelin. It is more portable. When you don't use it, you can carry it with you. When you use it, only by shaking the handle, you will see its body. A group contains 42 javelins. They are suitable to fight enemy within short distances. Zhang Tai took it and realized this telescopic javelin is really of a delicate structure. Although being very portable, it was not his target here. After putting that hidden telescopic javelin onto the hanger, Zhang Tai asked, "Senior brother, can I customize javelins here?" "Of course, the items workshop can produce all the items you require." "That's great. I want to customize a batch of special javelins. Here's are the requirements." Zhang Tai took a common javelin and started to talk about the requirements with the senior brother. The javelins required by Zhang Tai were divided into different groups. Those that were normal size were placed in one group, those that were 1 inch smaller than normal size were placed in one group, those that were 2 inches shorter than normal size were placed in one group, and those that were 3 inches shorter than normal size were placed in one group. Likewise, the size of the javelins gradually reduced by 1 inch one group by another. the last group was only 3 to 5 inches. To tell truth, these items could not be called javelins anymore as they were even much shorter than the head of a javelin. Hearing Zhang Tai's requests, the senior brother was really shocked as he had never been met with such a request. However, he didn't ask why, because everyone in the Breaking Heavens department had their own secrets. It was not good to be too curious here. Junior brother, as you've ordered 40 groups here, it will cost you a lot. I know it will cost me a lot. Therefore, I only need 6 javelins for each group. This way it'll be much cheaper. Yes, you can save on 1/3 of the price this way. Follow me, I will calculate the price of these items for you. Zhang Tai and the senior brother came to the counter on the first floor. After that, the senior brother took a pen and started to record these items before calculating the price of them on paper. Junior brother, if your requests are met, you need to pay 418 gold coins at least. Hearing the figure, Zhang Tai also became a bit hesitant as it was truly not a small amount of money for a newbie in the Breaking Heavens department. He had to save money. When he was picking up navy blue iron ores from the sea, he could only make a few silver coins for one day's hard work. Although he had money now, he knew that he should be frugal in preparation of worse scenario. Senior brother, how about a bit cheaper? The javelins need to be made of special alloy. Plus its material expense, processing fee, and other necessary cost and profit, this is the lowest price. My items are just consumable. They don't need a special alloy. Just use some steel with high endurance. Can they be cheaper then? If so. The senior brother then started to calculate on the paper once again. If you use common high-intensity steel, you could truly save a lot. Here it is, you only need to pay 189 gold coins. Are you sure that you only need high-intensity steel? This material could only last a few years. A few years, that's enough. It will not take me that long to finish my first round of evolution of my ancestral bloodline. I'm sure. Zhang Tai nodded. We need to settle the bill here. Have you brought your money, junior brother? Yes, I have. Zhang Tai directly paid the 189 gold coins. The senior brother then opened an order for him. You can come back for them in 3 days. Zhang Tai hadn't imagined that he could get these things in only 3 days. After exiting the items department, Zhang Tai returned to the teaching building of the Breaking Heavens department and paid for the compulsory courses during the first year. Zhang Tai chose the following courses: General History of Humanity, Review on Human Culture on the Continents, Geography, The Great Charter of Brilliance, Clan System and National Wealth Theory. All the above courses were Zhang Tai's shortcomings that he might not have been able to learn about when in Black Hot City. All the above courses only required gold coin instead of clan contribution points. After submitting the gold coins, Zhang Tai could come to the Breaking Heaven department to listen to these courses at any time. Each course would be allocated between 3 teachers in the Breaking Heavens department. As the teaching schedules of these teachers were staggered, one could choose the appropriate teacher's class at their discretion. As long as one felt that they could pass the test for a course, one could apply for the examination at any time of the year, even if one didn't attend the class at all. By contrast, if one failed to pass the test, he had to take the course again to be qualified to attend the exam the next year. That meant that one had to pay for the course again. The resources in the Breaking Heavens department could never be used for free. After checking the schedule of these courses and his number for the examination, Zhang Tai finally had the feeling that he had truly started learning in the Breaking Heavens department and had become a member of the department. After finishing 2 affairs in the Hidden Dragon Palace, Zhang Tai rushed to the wharf to set free fish as per usual. After that, he returned to the canteen of the Breaking Heavens department to have supper. When he went back to his residence in the Songtao Pavilion, Zhang Tai received the first letter from home. 1 week prior, Zhang Tai's elder sister-in-law gave birth to a healthy, fat son for Zhang Tai's elder brother. It weighed 2.3 kilograms. The 3rd generation of Zhang Tai's family finally came into this world. Zhang Tai, although being only 16 years old, had enjoyed the honor of being an uncle. His whole family became so excited that Zhang Tai's dad named the baby Zhang Qing'an. 1. Qing'an, can he really be safe? When he thought of the holy war between humans and demons, Zhang Tai suddenly felt a heavy burden on himself. Over the next 3 days, Zhang Tai became more diligent as he was trying to improve his real strength and broaden his horizons each day. In the morning, as a yiksha in the sea, Zhang Tai had to be in the pearl field 1 hour before those girls arrived at the long-wind pearl field so as to check the situation of the sea near the pearl field and drive away sharks and some other dangerous marine organisms. If he couldn't drive them away, he had to kill them without letting them bleed. After clearing up the dangerous creatures in the pearl field, Zhang Tai started to swim in the sea area around the pearl field with the other yikshas and formed several safety lines and flowing sentry posts underwater near the pearl field. It was a very labor-intensive work as yikshas had to stay in water for over 10 hours a day. Besides taking a breath every so often, they even had to rest underwater. It became completely impossible for them to eat and drink. Yikshas couldn't leave the sea until all the pearl divers and girls in the pearl field had left the water and the safe lamp of the lighthouse, which was built on the top of the castle beside the pearl field, was turned on. People who were capable of doing this work should have the following qualities: excellent diving skills, good physical strength, and a strong willing with a sense of responsibility. On the second day after Zhang Tai met and made the appointment with Liu Shi for a drink, on the table, Zhang Tai was introduced to some friends of Liu Shi. As they were all of the same age and had no estrangement, they soon became familiar with each other. Knowing that Zhang Tai was a yiksha in the sea, they began to admire Zhang Tai's diving skills. Through the new friend's introduction, Zhang Tai knew more about the rules in the Breaking Heavens department. Not until then did Zhang Tai know that there was still a hidden dragon list in the Breaking Heavens department. There were 4 sublists under the Hidden Dragon list: Hidden Dragon Wealth list, Hidden Dragon Fighting Force list, Hidden Dragon Clan Contribution Points and Hidden Dragon Craftsmanship list. People who could rank first on the 4 sublists would be instantly arranged in an important position by the clan and became an outstanding person once he left the Hidden Dragon Palace. People whose names could be seen on the 4 sublists were definitely remarkable in the Breaking Heavens department. Everyone that cultivated in the Breaking Heavens department hoped to see their names on the 4 sublists. Those figures on the 4 sublists were all above level 7 and the elites of the Breaking Heaven department. Where can I see the 4 sublists? As you are new here, you might not be familiar with it. You can see the 4 sublists in Qingyun Palace. Qingyun Palace is the place where we trade items and exchange intelligence. Liu Shi replied. Zhang Tai then kept the sublists and the name of Qingyun Palace in mind and planned to go there to see the excellent figures of the Breaking Heavens department. Speaking of lists, Zhang Tai suddenly recalled the 2 senior brothers who chased after Dang Tong, the sea monster above water, and killed him on the passenger liner. The 2 senior brothers had distinctive styles, which greatly impressed Zhang Tai. Zhang Tai speculated that their names might be on the Hidden Dragon Fighting Force list. On the 3rd day, after Zhang Tai finished his work as a yiksha in the sea and set free the fish, he came to the items department for his javelins. They were put in 3 big crates. 1. Qing'an, which means to be safe forever. Chapter 296, Collision. The bamboo woodsman told Zhang Tai about a simple way to complete his first evolution in his ancestral bloodline of precise throwing, namely, keep practicing. Practice precisely throwing with javelins of different sizes. Now that he knew he could precisely throw a 1.4 m javelin, how about throwing a 1.3 m javelin? And when he can precisely throw a 1.3 m javelin, how about throwing a 1.29 m one and then try throwing a 1.28 m one? As long as he kept practicing by constantly extending the applicable range of precise throwing and shortening the sizes of the javelins, Zhang Tai would definitely be able to throw a knife, a bolt, a piece of stone, or a javelin head, which was only several inches in length, as precisely as he threw out a javelin. When he could accomplish this, he would finish his first round of evolution of his ancestral bloodline. After learning of this method from the bamboo woodsman, Zhang Tai had been thinking about it a lot. For the majority of people, because precise throwing was not a senior ancestral bloodline, its power was completely determined by that person's strength. However, because people's strength was limited, when it reached a certain distance, the throwing power could not match that of a strong crossbow. The attack only depended on the sudden explosive force of a person, while the power of a crossbow depended on the combination of the strong power of the bow and the human's power. The two were not even on the same starting line. Although this is applicable to most people, it is not applicable to me, because I have the 7 strength fruits, which can improve my strength to a level which is out of normal person's imagination. With only 9 wild wolf 7 strength fruits, I have already become so much more terrifyingly powerful than most people. What if I have 9 more huge wolf 7 strength fruits and 9 more golden wolf 7 strength fruits? Undoubtedly, that would mean that the power of precise throwing has no upper limit for me, as it can constantly increase along with the 7 strength fruits that I eat. Based on this premise, once I finish the first round of evolution of my ancestral bloodline, besides javelins, I will also be able to use other lighter, smaller, and more portable items to complete throwing attacks. That means that items that are not powerful in others' eyes will exert a terrifying power with my rising strength. By then, I will not only be like a movable, humanoid artillery battery, but also be the most terrifying king of hidden weapons. When he imagined that once he raised his hands, he would scare off the enemy and make them flee in terror, Zhang Tai felt his blood boiling up throughout his body. After forming his iron blood battle chi, Zhang Tai's next target for his fighting skills was to complete the first round of evolution of his ancestral bloodline and apply his precise throwing skill for smaller objects. The javelins made by the items department for Zhang Tai were divided into 41 groups of different specifications. Each group contained 6 javelins. The lengths ranged from normal size to 5-inch, which looked like a dart. They were put in 3 big crates, weighing more than 1,480 kilograms in total. Even though the 3 big crates were not too heavy, Zhang Tai could only carry them back to his room in the Songtao Pavilion over 3 trips. When Zhang Tai was carrying the last crate back, he met those girls who had wanted to take revenge for their junior sisters in the Breaking Heaven department more than 10 days ago. 7 or 8 men were behind them. There was total of more than 10 people altogether. As they walked towards Zhang Tai while talking and laughing, unavoidably, they clashed with him. Zhang Tai didn't feel like talking with those girls as they acted so strange to Zhang Tai. Additionally, Zhang Tai was very busy and had no time to care about how they felt towards him. Zhang Tai really felt that there was nothing to say, but the girls seemed to be very hateful towards him. When Zhang Tai was still over 10 m away from those girls, they had already fixed their eyes full of killing intent onto him. "I heard that you've not selected the fundamental moves and shield defense skill?" One of those girls said icily when she was close to Zhang Tai. "I've not got enough clan contribution points. I'm doing tasks first," Zhang Tai calmly answered while both of them stopped walking. "I hope that you never select those 2 compulsory fighting courses." "Never mind, I will not live up to your good intention, senior sisters." "What a joke. You want me to scare me off?" Zhang Tai felt that it was a bit ridiculous. These girls really take themselves too seriously. "Humph. I hope you don't eat your own words." After this, Zhang Tai and that girl didn't talk anymore and kept walking on. However, Zhang Tai had not expected that only after a few steps away, he had heard those girls talking with a man, which immediately stopped Zhang Tai. "Is this brat that Zhang Tai? I lost more than 100 gold coins because of him. He doesn't look that great." "That's him. It is really very strange for him to form Iron Blood Battle Chi in one day. I was told that Iron Blood Battle Chi could not be formed without being very brave. I really wonder how he could form it so smoothly. He's a talent, but he has a poor reputation among the girls in the Zhixing department. That's why Ruame and the other junior sisters requested that we teach him a lesson." "What talent?" "He's just fortunate." A faintly hoarse voice was heard. "I was told that his dad was a crap, who was chosen to marry a woman with a different surname. Finally, his dad stealthily eloped with that woman. As his dad is a douchebag, how could his son be that great? Senior brother Chigua, watch out your words, please." After stopping his footsteps, Zhang Tai turned back. With a loud sound, he threw the crate of 500 kilograms onto the ground. Hearing the killing intent from the falling crate, in a split second, they stopped walking and turned around. Zhang Tai faintly narrowed his eyes as he looked at them with a cold expression and said in an icy voice, "The one who mentioned my dad, if you kneel down in front of me and kowtow for my dad 3 times and slap yourself 10 times to apologize to my dad, I will take it as if nothing has happened." Hearing Zhang Tai's words, all the others' faces changed. "Zhang Tai, you..." Before one of the girls frowned and wanted to say something, she was stopped by Zhang Tai's reproach. "Shut up. It's got nothing to do with you." At this moment, Zhang Tai was totally like a different person as he was not as calm or happy as before. Senior brother just made an indiscreet remark just now, don't be that aggressive." "An indiscreet remark? If he could about swear about his dad 10 times like before, I will trust you." Hearing Zhang Tai's words, that person opened his mouth, yet his voice didn't come out at all. Zhang Tai then fixed his eyes on the male boys among the group of people like a wolf as he growled, "Who said it just now?" "Where you are." "I said it, so what?" A young man around the age of 20 with a lanky face walked 2 steps forward as he raised his head and looked at Zhang Tai with a cold smile. "Don't think that you are unrivaled just because you've formed your Iron Blood Battle Chi. As we're in the Breaking Heaven department, I want to test your Iron Blood Battle Chi." Soon after he said this, his face abruptly changed. At the same time, Zhang Tai exploded his Battle Chi totem, Bloody Banner. In the dense roiling Bloody Battle Chi, a golden terrifying hellblack spider gradually rose up from behind Zhang Tai like a giant. Finally, the horrible monster, which was as tall as a building, started to look down at those people with icy eyes while a burning, dense, bloody energy like lively flames enshrouded everyone present. Zhang Tai's Battle Chi totem was very frightening and shocking even from afar, let alone standing just in front the Battle Chi totem and being enshrouded by the Chi field and frame of the whole Battle Chi totem. The group of people in the opposite of Zhang Tai needed to raise up their heads to be able to see the whole Battle Chi totem. That hellblack spider was like a burning mountain which carried the fury and will of Zhang Tai, erected in front of everyone. When they looked into the 4 rows of 8 pitch-black icy eyes on the Battle Chi totem, which was dozens of meters high, they would feel like they were gazing into hell. The feeling of darkness and fear was oppressive enough to frighten those timid ones and make them fall onto the ground. Being influenced by Zhang Tai's great oppression and Chi field, those people who were enshrouded by Zhang Tai's Battle Chi totem all started to roll up their own Battle Chi totems. Most of their Battle Chi totems were LV7 centipedes, only a few of them were LV8 king snakes. Their Battle Chi totems varied from 2M to 5M. These Battle Chi totems in front of Zhang Tai's hellblack spider were like infants in front of an adult. When they stood on the opposite side, it felt that Zhang Tai's hellblack spider was going to eat those centipedes and king snakes like eating dim sum. The Battle Chi totem of that guy with a lanky face was also a LV8 king snake. Looking at Zhang Tai, who was walking towards him, that man's Battle Chi totem also started to shake violently while a weird expression flashed across his eyes. "Move back." Noticing the increasingly dangerous atmosphere over the 2 men, the other guys hurriedly moved back to make some space for them. Where there were men, there were collisions. Therefore, it was not strange to have collisions in the Breaking Heaven department. When those collisions could not be solved orally, in accordance with the current rules, they could only be settled through their fists. When a big problem arose from a fight, for instance one party was killed or one party believed that something was amiss, it would be solved by the disciplinary department of Hidden Dragon Palace according to the rules of the Breaking Heaven department. The moment the other people near that person moved back, Zhang Tai had already launched an attack, making the stone slabs under his feet completely shatter into small pieces. In a split second, Zhang Tai shot out like a bolt while launching his fist towards that person's head, which was accompanied by the tiger's roar of the wind. Chapter 297, I'm Long. Zhang Tai used the fastest and most aggressive movement of the 36 freehand movements of the Iron Blood Fist, Mountain Collapse Punch. He gathered the strength from his legs. The punch contained an unrivaled power and was full of Zhang Tai's determination, decisiveness, and wildfire-like fury. Anyone who dared to insult Zhang Tai's family members had to face Zhang Tai's fury in the equivalent of a life-and-death battle. Even though this member of the Breaking Heavens department had reached level 8, he still dared not to directly face Zhang Tai's fist with Iron Blood Battle Chi. Instead, he chose to avoid Zhang Tai's attack. The guy moved so fast that when Zhang Tai launched his punch towards him, he immediately flashed away and reached a position 5 steps away from Zhang Tai's left. It was also Zhang Tai's first time encountering such an opponent. In a split second, he had already avoided his punch. Commoners could only feel that person suddenly disappeared. However, with super high spiritual energy, Zhang could slow down his movement and see clearly what he had done. That person didn't disappear all of a sudden but used strange movements. As a result, he instantly escaped out of Zhang Tai's attack range. Mountain Splitting Axe. After the punch, Zhang Tai instantly tilted his body as he slashed his right leg towards that man like a big axe. That man then escaped away once again. At the same time, Zhang Tai's leg broke the air and made a sharp sound before touching the ground, leaving a 2 m long and 30 cm deep rift. Zhang Tai's 36 freehand movements of the Iron Blood Fist were so fluent that soon after the mountain splitting axe was used, the moment his feet landed, Zhang Tai instantly surged forward with a bow-like stance and attacked that man's lower abdomen with a heavy elbow. The man flashed away for the 3rd time. Zhang Tai then used a horizontal sword palm, causing a tearing sound in the air. When Zhang Tai hacked onto the ground with the fierce mountain collapse axe, every onlooker felt a faint earthquake. Knowing the power of Zhang Tai's Iron Blood Fist, all of them changed their faces. After exchanging glances, they all saw a wisp of fear and shock in the eyes of the opponent. Although they knew that Iron Blood Fist and Iron Blood Battle Chi were great, none of them had imagined that it could be that great. Zhang Tai was only level 6. That was too absurd. Anyone who directly faced Zhang Tai's attacks just now would be severely wounded. That was too fierce to stand. What was more amazing was that Zhang Tai kept applying his fierce fist movements as smoothly and rapidly as an untiring machine. He kept launching attacks towards Zhang Wuqing. However, Zhang Wuqing escaped from his attacks each time through weird foot movements. Is Iron Blood Fist truly that great? That man among the onlookers who talked with Zhang Tai just now started to mumble when he watched Zhang Tai's flexible moving shadow. Of course, he could judge from Zhang Tai's movements that Zhang Tai had only cultivated Iron Blood Fist and nothing else. Additionally, Zhang Tai didn't receive any systematic training on fighting skills. For instance, Zhang Tai had not mastered the fundamental movements, which was a compulsory course in the Breaking Heavens department. He didn't see any fighting skills in the Secret Knowledge Pavilion from Zhang Tai either. Even though, by only using Iron Blood Fist, Zhang Tai had already beaten Zhang Qinghua so fiercely that Zhang Qinghua didn't even have a chance to fight back. Instead, he just escaped here and there. During this process, Zhang Qinghua also tried to launch attacks several times. However, Zhang Tai just ignored his attacks. Zhang Tai kept attacking him without any inclination to defend or escape from his attacks at all. Zhang Tai was definitely fighting him at the price of life. In fear of Zhang Tai's Iron Blood Battle Chi, Zhang Qinghua didn't even dare to directly face Zhang Tai. In every instance in which Zhang Qinghua prepared to fight back, he had been forced by Zhang Tai to give up and run away. It was okay at the beginning. However, as the battle between them continued, the scene became as follows. Zhang Tai chased after Zhang Qinghua by beating him while Zhang Qinghua kept escaping from his attacks. At the beginning, Zhang Qinghua was thinking about looking for a chance to fight back when the latter was tired. However, after being chased after and beaten for more than 10 minutes, Zhang Tai didn't feel tired at all. Instead, he became more spirited and could use his movements more smoothly. As a result, the roar of a tiger and the breaking air sound along with his punches became sharper and sharper. Zhang Qinghua's face then turned black as his forehead started to ooze a cold sweat. Hearing the noise, the number of onlookers also increased. Come here and have a look, a level 6 junior brother is chasing after and beating a level 8 senior brother. The level 8 senior brother was beaten so fiercely that he escaped everywhere. Among the new onlookers, some wicked guys shouted loudly. Hearing that yell, Zhang Qinghua almost spurted out a mouthful of blood. Right then, Zhang Tai left an opening on his right ribs to Zhang Qinghua. Immediately, Zhang Qinghua attacked Zhang Tai's right ribs. When he made it, Zhang Qinghua's heart pounded. However, before he became excited, he became shocked as Zhang Tai directly clipped his hand with right arm by making a turn. Zhang Tai was so powerful that he instantly clipped Zhang Qinghua's right hand tightly like a pair of pliers. Zhang Qinghua could not draw his right hand out at all. As a result, his right hand instantly became numb. When Zhang Qinghua's right hand was clipped under Zhang Tai's armpit, his partners were all shocked. That's awful. Nobody had imagined that Zhang Tai, who was only level 6, could beat Zhang Qinghua, who was 2 levels higher than him. The chance left by Zhang Tai was made for the purpose of catching Zhang Qinghua. Let's see how you escape now. Seeing Zhang Tai's bloody mouth and grim smile, Zhang Qinghua became greatly shocked as he shouted loudly, "Arg!" When he could not withdraw his right hand, he wanted to stomp onto Zhang Tai's foot. However, before he raised his foot, Zhang Tai's left foot had already raised up and stomped his foot. All of a sudden, Zhang Qinghua felt like he was being fixed by a big iron nail into the ground. When he could not move his foot, he could only use the left hand. The two men both responded very quickly. When Zhang Qinghua smacked Zhang Tai's chest with a left punch, Zhang Tai directly punched Zhang Qinghua's lower abdomen. At this moment, as they could only move one hand and one foot, the two men were stuck together. Zhang Qinghua's punch and Zhang Tai's punch were both fierce. As a result, they both spurted out a mouthful of blood and were wounded. Plus the last time when he left an opening to Zhang Qinghua, Zhang Tai was beaten twice before spurted out blood. However, the iron blood fist was so fierce that the moment he touched Zhang Qinghua's lower abdomen, he had made Zhang Qinghua spurt out blood. After suffering from a punch from each other and spurting out blood respectively, Zhang Tai and Zhang Qinghua's eyes both turned red. They gritted their teeth tightly as they stared at each other's eyes. Using no fighting skills, they just punched each other at the price of blood and wounds. They wanted to know who could have the last laugh. All the onlookers had been dumbfounded as none of them had imagined that the two people would fight in such a fierce manner. One was level 6 and cultivated the iron blood fist while the other was level 8 and cultivated another high-end battle chi and had been in the Breaking Heavens department for a long time. In only several seconds, the two had already attacked each other more than 10 times respectively, causing them spurt blood heavily. The one who fell down first was Zhang Qinghua. Zhang Tai kept punching his lower abdomen many times, causing him spurt blood and lose the strength to fight back. Gradually, he bent over and knelt down in front of Zhang Tai. Then, he showed the whites of his eyes as he lay down on the ground and panted like a dead fish. Spurting blood, Zhang Tai directly rode on his back and clenched his collar as he asked, "Are you wrong?" Receiving no response, Zhang Tai slapped his face. "Are you wrong? Pa. Are you wrong? Pa. Are you wrong? Pa. Are you wrong? Pa. Are you wrong? Pa." Under Zhang Tai's crotch, after being slapped more than 10 times, that guy's face had become swollen. At the same time, his eyes were full of fear like looking at a ghost. Staring at Zhang Tai's firm and cruel expression, he definitely believed that as long as he didn't reply, he was doomed to be slapped to death here. "Are you wrong? Long." That person's mouth had been so swollen that he could not even utter clearly. Zhang Tai grinned, "I want your apology. I am Long, I am sorry." Hearing his apology, Zhang Tai finally loosened his grasp and stood up from the ground. He then lowered his head and watched that person. "If you think that you're not wrong and want to fight me, I'll wait for you at any time. Duels are also okay. I'll accompany you anytime. However, if I hear those words from you next time, I'll kill you." Standing up, Zhang Tai glanced at his partners before wiping off the blood from the corners of his mouth and slowly walked towards his crate. Seeing Zhang Tai coming towards them, the onlookers all gave way. Many people even cast admirable glances towards him. Zhang Tai came to the crate as he took a deep breath and forcefully picked it up from the ground before walking away towards the Songtao pavilion. Lying on the ground, that man's eyes were full of complaints and hatred. Looking at Zhang Qinghua's expression, some of his partners faintly frowned their foreheads. Chapter 298, Demons Were Found. Zhang Tai returned to his room, number 7, in Songtao Pavilion while taking cold breaths. He was taking cold breaths because of the pain from his wounds, however, at the same time, he revealed a slight smile. After eating iron body fruits for so long, Zhang Tai had not enjoyed the benefit of iron body fruits in real battle until today. When Zhang Tai fought with that person just now, the benefits of the iron body fruits truly showed and helped him win the fight. If there were no iron body fruit, even though he could have won the battle, it would never have been that easy. Neither could he carry a crate of 400 to 500 kilograms back after such a fierce battle. When he left a chance to that person and pinned that person's hand, he was betting that he could stand that person's strike instead of being heavily wounded, being killed, or being sent flying away. He guessed right. After eliminating that guy's advantage by fixing his foot, Zhang Tai won the battle. His confidence came from the iron body fruit which formed when he dove in water in recent days. Now that the iron body fruit could help him resist against greater pressure from sea water, it could definitely bring him a greater strike-resistant ability. If he didn't beat that guy and prevent him from moving, to tell the truth, Zhang Tai wouldn't know the outcome of the fight. That guy moved so weirdly. If they were fighting in another place where there were no onlookers, that guy would actually find it impossible to lose the battle because of his weird moving skills. That douchebag was first beaten by Zhang Tai's self-respect, then the iron body fruit, and finally Zhang Tai. Thankfully, Zhang Tai won his bet. On the way back to the Songtao Pavilion, Zhang Tai recalled how he fought that guy and summed up the experience. If that guy had a sword, there might have been a different outcome. I wonder what he used to use. Certainly, if I have a javelin, that douchebag is doomed to die. Generally speaking, both people had exerted their full strength. However, they didn't use all of their fighting skills. If various fighting skills were available, Zhang Tai was confident to finish that person in the shortest period. Zhang Tai admired that person's weird and agile moving skills inside. He had determined to learn fundamental movements soon after he got enough clan contribution points. As he had not received systematic training, he was weak in moving skills. As long as he mastered the fundamental movements, he could definitely increase the power of Iron Blood Fist many times over. After returning to his room, Zhang Tai put down his crate as he felt a sharp pain in his lungs. Zhang Tai couldn't help but cough up some blood. That guy's punches are too heavy. Zhang Tai knew that he had suffered internal injuries. Zhang Tai went to the washroom to spit out the blood. He then cleaned himself up before going to the cultivation room. The Xian number 7 cultivation room of Songtao Pavilion was not large as it only covered a bit more than 10 square meters. The room was paved with refreshing pine wood floor. As sunlight was cast in the cultivation room for most of the daytime, the cultivation room would feel warm and very comfortable at night. Zhang Tai walked towards the cattail hassock and sat on it. Looking at the setting sun in the distance, Zhang Tai slowly adjusted his breathing as he closed his eyes and became relaxed enough to sense inside his body. 2 hours later, dusk fell. After studying the inside of his body, Zhang Tai felt that his wounds were recovering in way faster as he opened his eyes. Benefiting from the effect of preliminary recovery body, after sunset, the healing and recovery ability of Zhang Tai started to accelerate from 215% to 430%. At this moment, Zhang Tai's recovering speed had reached 4 times that of normal people. That meant, it only took Zhang Tai 1 hour to reach the effect of 4 hours recovery of most people. Zhang Tai revealed a faint smile as he stood up from the cattail hassock. Finally, he witnessed the powerful combination of the preliminary recovery body and iron body fruit. Feeling a bit hungry, Zhang Tai left the Songtao Pavilion and entered the canteen of the Breaking Heaven department. The conditions in the canteen of the Breaking Heaven department were better than those of the Zhixing department. With the payment of 1 gold coin a day, Breaking Heaven department provided various free buffets around the clock in order to meet different people's schedule. Therefore, one could enjoy food here at any time. Zhang Tai was very satisfied about this. The preliminary recovery body could not only bring Zhang Tai a great physical recovery ability, a higher toxin immune ability, and a fatal wounds endurance ability, but also bring him a better appetite. Especially as he didn't eat lunch, in the evening Zhang Tai easily ate 2 men's worth of food. He didn't leave until he was almost full. After exiting the canteen, Zhang Tai only walked less than 1 minute before he met a person and asked him about the location of the Qingyun Palace. Qingyun Palace was definitely more boisterous in the evening than it was in the daytime. From afar, Zhang Tai had already seen the magnificent building. When he was close, he saw many senior brothers of Breaking Heaven department accessing here. As Zhang Tai was too common, nobody even glanced at him. After entering the main entrance of Breaking Heaven department and passing a porch, Zhang Tai arrived at a brightly lit hall. The moment he entered the hall, Zhang Tai was attracted by the 4 10m high lists. Above the 4 lists were 3 golden words: Hidden Dragon List, closely below which were a line of smaller words: Hidden Dragon Wealth List, Hidden Dragon Fighting Force List, Hidden Dragon Clan Contribution List and Hidden Dragon Craftsmanship List. Each sublist contained 50 names. After taking a careful look, Zhang Tai found a pattern, namely, 7 of the top 10 in the Hidden Dragon Wealth List could be found in the top 10 of the Hidden Dragon Craftsmanship List except for a small difference in ranks. Similarly, many people of the top 10 in the Hidden Dragon Fighting Force List occupied the top ranks in the Hidden Dragon Clan Contribution List. After a short while, Zhang Tai figured it out. Those who could enter the Hidden Dragon Craftsmanship List were definitely elites who cultivated various professions in the Breaking Heaven department, such as rune manufacturers and alchemists. As long as they had gained some achievements, it would be easy for them to make money. Likewise, those in the Hidden Dragon Fighting Force List were definitely able to complete highly difficult clan tasks and gain more clan contribution points. What Zhang Tai had not imagined was that his cousin Zhang Su's name ranked 46 in the Hidden Dragon Craftsmanship List. No wonder Zhang Tai felt his cousin was a bit arrogant most of the time. When Zhang Tai glanced over the 4 lists, the gate was thrown open and a senior brother rushed into the hall while waving something. He shouted so loudly that everybody could hear, "Urgent news, urgent news." Demons were found on the Hurricane Plateau in the west of Golan Empire. Demons were found on the Hurricane Plateau in the west of Golan Empire. The moment he shouted out, the noisy hall suddenly became so quiet that even a needle falling onto the ground would have been heard. 10 seconds later, someone asked, "Are you serious?" This is the brief on the intelligence of the continent transmitted by the clan from Yang City. 2 days ago, when a cavalry unit of a Celtic prefecture in the west of Golan Empire conducted their routine patrol along the border of the Hurricane Plateau, they met a small troop of demons. Finally, less than 1/10 of that cavalry unit returned. Because it was related to demons, Golan Empire has already reported this battle to the Wei Subcontinent Human Central Countries Alliance. Additionally, yesterday, Golan Empire released the Demons Killing Order and opened the border between the Celtic Prefecture and Hurricane Plateau to all the pioneers, adventurers, and fighters across the Wei subcontinent. The hall became quiet once again. This might mean nothing. Since the Second Holy War between human beings and demons, small demon troops were always found slipping into human territory suddenly. The latest demon troops were found 27 years ago on the Wei subcontinent. Someone said loudly. There's one more possibility. The demons have already broken through the underground channel from the Dark Continent to the Hurricane Plateau. If so, a chilly sense was felt in the hall. That person didn't talk anymore while everybody else understood what he meant. If the demons truly had broken through the underground channel from the Dark Continent to the Hurricane Plateau, from now on, there would be more and more demons on the Hurricane Plateau. As soon as the demons prepared well, the demons' army would gather on the Hurricane Plateau, which meant the Third Holy War between human beings and demons would arrive. Each corps of demons included around 400,000 to 500,000 demon fighters. In each holy war, the demons would send out hundreds, or even thousands of corps, while each demon corps was the nightmare of humankind. Chapter 299, Strange Solution. While many people were still in the hall discussing the news of demons appearing on the Hurricane Plateau in the west of Golan Empire, Zhang Tai had already left the hall after skimming the brief intelligence on Wei subcontinent sent from the clan in the recent months. The brief intelligence could help those in the Breaking Heaven Department stay informed about the events around the continent so that the Breaking Heaven Department was not isolated from the outside world. After all, the Zhang clan was cultivating elites, not hermits, in the Breaking Heaven Department. From the brief intelligence in the last month, Zhang Tai found the news that he was truly concerned about. After half a year, the war between Norman Empire and Sun Dynasty in Kalar region had ended. After that, the Cylinder family which ruled Kalar City officially declared the founding of a new country centered around Kalar City, with Alexius Cylinder officially became the Queen of Kalar. The new country centered around Kalar City was a typical pocket kingdom. On the founding day, Kalar's queen officially declared that they would remain neutral. Zhang Tai knew that the reason that the Cylinder family dared to declare the founding of a new country was because a powerful alchemist was backing their family. Neither Norman Empire nor Sun Dynasty would challenge two powerful enemies at the price of offending an alchemist with terrifying power. The war in the Kalar region ceased, which was good news for Zhang Tai. Because his friends in the Black Hot City and the Iron Blood camp didn't have to go to battle again. In contrast, the news about demons on the Hurricane Plateau in the west of Golan Empire was quite bad for Zhang Tai. Zhang Tai thought that if it was just a small demon troop or the demons had truly found the tunnel towards the underground world of the Hurricane Plateau, it was not a good sign. The demons were drawing closer, which means the holy war between humans and demons was drawing ever closer. Those big figures among human beings were also preparing for the coming holy war, making the sense of a coming chaotic world more obvious. After skimming over the brief intelligence sent by the Zhang clan from outside, Zhang Tai knew that there was always a hidden flow on the Wei subcontinent in the latest months. The tragedy case of the whole family of one senior of the Carol Federal Alchemists Association was killed had not been solved, and the king of the Laika kingdom was assassinated. After that, because of the competition for the throne between the infantes and the princes, Laika kingdom was instantly divided and troubled by civil war. At the same time, some countries along the Nayan River, which was known as the granary of the human corridor, were suffering from a rare plague of insects. As a result, all grain production suffered a sharp reduction this year. Additionally, the previously safe airlines now continuously suffered from dangerous wild beasts attacks. Some regular airlines even had to be abandoned. In this case, the airborne traffic connections between countries of the human corridor started to be fragile, as many countries even started to dispatch wartime airships to join in the protection of regular airlines. Zhang Tai went back to the Songtao pavilion in a poor mood. After entering his room, Zhang Tai didn't ignite the lamp in his room. Instead, he just meditated in the dark room for almost 10 minutes before silently entered the castle of Black Iron. When the dreamlike, colorful fog and the tender, bright light of Castle of Black Iron reappeared in front of Zhang Tai's eyes, Zhang Tai gradually felt better. By then, Castle of Black Iron had become more vigorous. Compared to that previous barren land, the inside of Castle of Black Iron had become larger, with one more lake of 200,000 square meters. The lake was Zhang Tai's achievement in the latest months. In the latest months, Zhang Tai had absorbed too much seawater into the Castle of Black Iron. After the seawater was converted into basic energy storage, it had become a huge figure that Zhang Tai had never imagined. Because of the sufficient amount of stored basic energy, the ambitious Heller used a part of the energy and built a freshwater lake that he had long planned, using the space and terrain renovation function of Castle of Black Iron. At this moment, at the sight of that shimmering lake in the far, Zhang Tai felt a great difference, as the whole Castle of Black Iron made him pleasant and opening. After all, human beings liked water. Zhang Tai then came to the side of the small tree and looked at the fruits on it. The latest leafless fruit would become ripe in 3 days. With 2 more leafless fruits, Zhang Tai would ignite the 9th surge point. It would be more difficult for him to realize that compared to his previous promotions. He needed to ignite 5 more surge points to reach LV7. It was as difficult as promoting from LV1 to LV5. The higher the level was, the more terrifying it would be to promote. Of course, one would also see a substantial growth of their strength and power at each higher level. The latest iron body fruit had become 95% ripe and could be eaten tomorrow. The only fruit that he could eat today was a fruit of redemption that formed because of the sandscale fish that he set free in the fish market of the wharf today. Fruit of redemption, gratitude from sandscale fish, fruit of redemption has become ripe. Usage, pick and directly eat it. Notice, the fruit cannot be taken out of the castle of black iron. After 12 hours of having been picked off the tree, its energy and vitality will gradually decline. This fruit will allow Castle Lord to increase your cold resistance in water and cold environments and sensitivity to water flow by 8% each. After eating it, Castle Lord will be able to increase your cold resistance in water and cold environments and your sensitivity to water flow by 702% each in total compared to your earliest condition. Zhang Tai picked it off and ate it. When he fully digested the fruit and absorbed its effect, Zhang Tai opened his eyes as he found that Heller had been long standing under the stone stairs of the small tree, waiting for him to open his eyes. Handsome and magnificent Castle Lord, welcome back to the Castle of Black Iron. Opening his eyes, Zhang Tai found that Heller was bowing towards him. The words from a person brought Zhang Tai a greater vanity than a line of written words. However, Zhang Tai faintly felt shameless to be called handsome and magnificent in front of Heller, as the latter's face was too handsome that it even made Zhang Tai jealous. Zhang Tai rubbed his face as he walked downstairs and said, Heller, from now on, you don't need to add the prefixes handsome and magnificent, just call me Castle Lord. As you will. Heller faintly bent his body and looked pretty perfect while Zhang Tai mumbled, where are Edward, Aziz, and Aegon? Because it's quite late, they've already gone to bed. I also realized that when Castle Lord entered. Zhang Tai then realized that Edward, Aziz, Aegon and Heller were actually like normal people, as they also needed food and sleep. As there's no night here, are you used to the living here? Because this space is connected with that world outside through you, in order to make you comfortable, the time and environment here is synchronous to that outside. We also have night, but it becomes bright when Castle Lord enters, just like a house automatically turns on its light when its owner comes back. Is that true? Zhang Tai suddenly became interested. Can you show me the night here? Having entering Castle of Black Iron for many times, he always saw daytime here. Zhang Tai didn't know what the night in Castle of Black Iron looked like yet. Castle Lord wants to see the night here? Yes. The moment Zhang Tai replied, without seeing what Heller did, the whole space in the Castle of Black Iron became as dark as outside. The colorful fog in the Castle of Black Iron suddenly became dark, only leaving a faint brilliance on a ball of fog which was suspended in the sky like the moon's outside. Even the visibility was almost identical to outside. His mouth slightly agape, Zhang Tai looked around the dark surroundings as he had not imagined that it could change so fast. However, Zhang Tai felt a sense of curiosity in the darkness of Castle of Black Iron. Is the night here always like this? No, the brightness and visibility here is adjustable in the night. They totally depend on the moving trajectories of the two moons outside. When the two moons outside are full, the night here would be the brightest. When the double crescents arrive in the outside, the night here would be the darkest. The night here is the same as outside. Heller replied. Just remain synchronous with the world outside from today on. When I enter, no need to adjust it into daytime when it should be night. Just follow the rule of the nature. Zhang Tai looked around as he said. The night in Castle of Black Iron felt especially tranquil and beautiful. Fine. As you will. Heller revealed a smile as he reminded Zhang Tai, the variety of plant seeds here are not enough. The more complete the collection of plant seeds is in the Castle of Black Iron, the more aura value will be produced. Increasing aura value would be useful in many aspects in the future. If Castle Lord has any free time, will you bring in some plants or plant seeds? Wetland plants and aquatic plants that are suitable to live in fresh water would be preferred. I will try my best. Zhang Tai became a bit bashful as he replied. Heller, the steward, was too responsible. Compared to him, Zhang Tai was really like a lazy owner who needed to be reminded all the time. The moment Zhang Tai wanted to leave, Heller further reminded him, which stopped him. Castle Lord, you must have been too busy recently. You might have forgotten about the vats of solution that you made using essential energy Reiki yeast and fruits. They've completed fermented for a while. Arg. Zhang Tai slapped his forehead as he'd almost forgotten about this. Zhang Tai then rushed to the lab and opened one of the huge porcelain vat with curiosity. A strange yet alluring fragrance drifted out of the top of the porcelain vat. In an instant, the whole lab was full of the smell. Zhang Tai became stunned. What's this? It smells so good. Chapter 300, Strange Solution 2. Translator, WQL Editor, Ebony Frost. Last night, Zhang Tai slept very well. When he got up on the next morning, he felt fully energetic and had recovered his vitality again. After getting up, Zhang Tai warmed up his body by stretching his limbs and doing some movements. Suddenly, he realized that most of his wounds had recovered overnight. Zhang Tai tried a few more times and found that the wounds truly had been recovered. Previously, Zhang Tai estimated that it would probably take him a couple of days to completely recover based on his preliminary recovery body. He hadn't imagined that he had almost fully recovered overnight. To be serious, the effect over last night was at least equal to 2 days of good rest. Zhang Tai felt that he had mainly benefited from the 430% healing and recovery effect of his preliminary recovery body at night, therefore, Zhang Tai didn't think too much of it. When cleaning up in the washroom, Zhang Tai looked at the juvenile with a high color in the mirror as he exposed his 2 rows of white teeth and grinned. He then encouraged himself loudly, "Come on, come on, come on." Each morning, Zhang Tai would encourage himself loudly in the mirror. Until he started brushing teeth. When he licked his lips did Zhang Tai feel the fragrance of the residue of the essential energy Reiki yeast that he drank last night. It was so good that Zhang Tai hadn't drunk such a marvelous thing before. It was like a beverage, but it tasted like alcohol although it wasn't. It tasted sour, sweet, and cool. Although it was fermented by shattered fruits, its luster and taste were utterly different from the same type of yeast solution that he had drunk before at home. It tasted more mellow and distant. As long as he had it in his mouth, he could feel the spirit and vitality in the liquid. Zhang Tai couldn't describe how it felt. After drinking it, Zhang Tai only felt that all his pores had opened. He felt comfortable and refreshing all over. Additionally, after drinking it, he also slept pretty well. After cleaning up, the moment he thought about the taste of the solution, Zhang Tai started to drool. Patting his forehead, Zhang Tai swore, "Stupid, as long as I take a bottle, I can drink it at any time." After thinking for a while, Zhang Tai found an aluminum military kettle. He then cleaned it with water. After that, he directly locked his consciousness on the solution in the big vat in the lab of the castle of black iron. All of a sudden, a trickle appeared in the kettle. Only after a short while, the whole kettle was full of the special liquid. After shaking the kettle full of the solution in his hand, Zhang Tai smiled as he felt that he had the potential to be a magician. If he made a performance with this talent, he could definitely arouse others' attention. After doing this, Zhang Tai carried this kettle and lifted one crate that contained various javelins of different sizes before leaving his room. He went to the canteen to have breakfast first before going to the Long Wind Pearl field. "Zhang Tai, what's that crate for?" Senior Chen walked towards him and asked. As Zhang Tai had been in the Long Wind Pearl field for several days, he had been familiar with the other workers there. Senior Chen was both an old staff and a yiksha in the pearl field. He had been working in the pearl field for dozens of years. He was the very person who tested Zhang Tai's diving skills. "Nothing serious, these are weapons. I customized them from the items department. When we finished work tonight, I will take these javelins to the town for sale. They might worth several gold coins." Zhang Tai raved. Of course, these javelins were not for sale. "Haha, you clever boy." Senior Chen shook his head as he said, "There was also someone did this in the Breaking Heavens department before. They wanted to sell the items from the items department in town. However, things didn't proceed as they expect." "Why?" Zhang Tai asked out of curiosity. "Although the items in the items department are well produced, they are of high cost. Therefore, it's impossible for you to sell them at a higher price. Additionally, most of those people have been well prepared for coming to the island. Few people would buy weapons here. Additionally, there are weapon stores on the island. Don't you know that? Arg! Zhang Tai shouted loudly, like having been greatly shocked, before revealing a sad expression. Do you mean that I suffer a great loss this time? I've spent too much for those items. Heh, such pitfall isn't too bad, with your wit. Senior Chen patted Zhang Tai's shoulder as he said, like an experienced man. When they talked, the other 3 yikshaws from the Breaking Heavens department arrived. They were all Zhang Tai's senior brothers, who were respectively called Yang Yuan Kong, Zhang Lin, and Zhu Wenqiang. They were all level 7. With good diving skills, they were here to gain clan contribution points. Among all the yikshaws in the sea here, Zhang Tai's level was the lowest, as he was only level 6. However, Zhang Tai's performance was really excellent. When they saw Zhang Tai's big crate, they all wondered what it was for. After Senior Chen explained what Zhang Tai had told him to them, all the other yikshaws laughed. Junior brother, there's no need to do that. As long as you have good diving skills, there are many opportunities to make money in the sea. Alright, come on, let's start work. After a while, those pearl divers and girls would go into the sea. Senior Chen urged aside, just put your crate here. I will keep an eye on it for you. Zhang Tai then put down his crate before following them downstairs to the underground floor of the castle. There was a huge underground space over 30 m wide under the castle. A huge dark blue seawater pond was inside, which was connected to the sea. Through this entrance, they could enter the sea. After they reached the underground space, Senior Chen lifted the steel fence under the water pond. Zhang Tai and the other yikshaws started to take off their clothes. As they were all men, they didn't feel shameful to take off all of their clothes. After that, they started to put on diving trousers made of shark skin and carry underwater weapons and equipment. Yikshaws always used watershed daggers, common daggers, underwater crossbows, and Dragon King forks. Each of these weapons was available. If one was confident in himself, it was also okay if he didn't carry any weapon, even his webbed feet. However, one must carry the cross-cloud arrow that was used to send a warning. The cross-cloud arrow was like a crossbow cylinder, each of which was as long as 30 centimeters. As long as the one emerged from the water and shot out a loud bolt towards the sky, the bolt would release a ball of red fog when it rose above 70 m in the air. The red fog would last for a long time to remind everyone else to go back onto the bank as soon as possible, as some dangerous magical beast or sea monster is coming underwater. Although after hundreds of years siege and hunting, there was basically no underwater magical beast or sea monster within the area of dozens of miles near the hidden Dragon Island, they had to be prepared. In Senior Chen's words, if a man-eating magical shark intruded in the pearl field, it would be a disaster. Zhu Wenqiang got ready. Brothers, I will go down first. After saying that, Zhu Wenqiang dove into the water. After Zhang Lin and Yang Yuan Kong, it was Zhang Tai's turn. Before going down, Zhang Tai opened his kettle and drank 2 mouths of the solution. In a split second, Zhang Tai felt comfortable and refreshing all over. Zhang Tai, don't drink alcohol before going down. Although alcohol could warm up temporarily, it will harm your lungs if you stay long in water. Seeing Zhang Tai drinking something, Senior Chen hurriedly reminded him aside. It's not alcohol. I brewed something else. Zhang Tai smiled as he covered the lid of the kettle. Senior Chen took a deep breath and truly smelt no alcohol from Zhang Tai. Instead, he smelt a weird fragrance. He then didn't say anything but cast a glance at Zhang Tai's aluminum military kettle out of curiosity. After hanging his kettle together with his clothes, Zhang Tai didn't say anything as he directly dove into the seawater. After a while, Zhang Tai caught up with the other yikshaws. They then sped up underwater like mermaids, as fast as running on the bank. In only a few minutes, they had already arrived at the pearl field and started to be responsible for the safety of different portions of the pearl field. It took them more than 40 minutes to finish patrolling the pearl field. During this period, all the other 3 yikshaws took a breath above water except for Zhang Tai. He kept moving underwater as easily as he did on land, which allowed the other yikshaws to admire his ability. After patrolling in the water area of the Pearl Field, they swam towards the surrounding water areas of the Pearl Field and formed several cordons. Arriving at the sea area outside the Pearl Field, Zhang Tai was like a bird in the sky as he had no constraints anymore. He then started to seek his prey. After a short while, Zhang Tai had seen an over 4 m long man-eating white shark swimming towards him the moment it caught sight of him. Zhang Tai became 10 times agiler all of a sudden. Before the white shark drew close to him with its huge mouth, Zhang Tai had already reached its head. He stretched out his palm and slightly pressed onto its head while slightly releasing his iron blood battle chi. Without drawing any blood, the white shark had lost its life in a split second before it sunk to the bottom of the sea. After an hour, 3 more white sharks were killed by Zhang Tai. Knowing that he had formed the latest ripe trouble reappearance fruit by killing this shark, Zhang Tai stopped. Not knowing why, after finishing today's task, Zhang Tai felt that he was not that hungry as before. He felt that he consumed less physical strength today. In the evening, Zhang Tai was sitting quietly with eyes closed in the cultivation cell of the Xian No. 7 room, Songtao Pavilion, Breaking Heavens Department. In the trouble reappearance situation of the latest trouble reappearance fruit, some sharks were closely chasing after Zhang Tai with red eyes. Finally, they could only watch Zhang Tai swimming far away from them. At this moment, Zhang Tai had already swum faster than sharks underwater even without the help of the castle of black iron. Zhang Tai dove into the underground entrance of the castle of the long-wind pearl field again. Without caring about the sharks chasing after him, after he opened his crate, he started to practice his javelins from smaller to bigger ones in the unmanned castle. In the next 2 days, Zhang Tai carried a big crate to the long-wind pearl field every day and used the javelins in them to kill sea snakes or sharks in the sea to form new trouble reappearance situations. Finally, he started to practice throwing javelins in the trouble reappearance situations which were the same as the true environment. When Zhang Tai held the javelins with normal size, he could clearly sense the conic locking state between him and the target. However, when he used very small javelins, he didn't have this sense. However, when he held those javelins which were one size smaller than normal ones, the locking state became unstable. At the same time, that mysterious conic sensing form started to shake and transform. If Zhang Tai threw them, he could not ensure the precision. Zhang Tai firstly used javelins that were one size smaller than normal javelins. Through constant throwing, the unstable state gradually became stable and finally became the same as that of the normal javelins. When he had adapted to a certain size of javelins, he started to train himself with smaller javelins. In this way, Zhang Tai made clan contribution points as Yaksha while accumulating basic energy storage and stimulating the production of iron body fruit in the sea in the daytime and practiced throwing javelins of different sizes in the trouble reappearance situations in the evening to complete his first round of evolution of his ancestral bloodline. If he had free time, he would go to attend classes or learn general history of human beings, overview of human culture on the continents and geography by himself, which were the compulsory cultural courses that he had paid for. Since he entered the Breaking Heavens department, Zhang Tai had become so busy every day that he didn't even have time to do other things except for work, practice, and study. However, Zhang Tai thought it was very fulfilling although being very busy and monotonous. In this way, Zhang Tai had stayed in the Breaking Heavens department for over a month. During the past month, Zhang Tai's cousin Zhang Su came here for Zhang Tai once. They only had a meal. After asking about Zhang Tai's recent condition and encouraging him, Zhang Su took a new task and left again. In the past month, Zhang Tai ignited 2 more surge points and had already ignited 10 surge points on his spine. During the same period, Zhang Tai drank a kettle of that special solution every day. It was too delicious and he had become used to drinking it. No matter what, he had several hundreds kg of that solution in the castle of black iron and could not drink them up in a short period. Besides its taste, Zhang Tai didn't feel anything special about the solution. For all the changes like gradually becoming energetic, not being easily hungry in the sea, his skin gradually becoming bright, clean and tender, his spiritual energy and battle chi naturally growing, his 5 senses becoming sharper and his saliva becoming sweeter. Zhang Tai owed them to his ignited surge points. However, what was doomed to happen finally occurred. That day, seeing that Zhang Tai would have a drink of the solution in the military kettle before going down in the sea, Yang Yuankang, who had been increasingly familiar with Zhang Tai, finally couldn't control his curiosity as he asked. "Zhang Tai, what's inside? I see you drinking this every day. It's beverage brewed by myself, have a try?" Saying this, Zhang Tai had thrown the kettle to Yang Yuankang. Taking Zhang Tai's kettle, Yang Yuankang firstly smelt it. In a sudden, a weird yet refreshing fragrance drifted from the opening of the kettle. Yang Yuankang's eyebrows instantly jumped twice. He hadn't smelt such a strange fragrance before. The moment he smelt it, he felt cool all over. After putting it close to his mouth and engulfed 2 mouths with a sound of glug glug, Yang Yuankang exclaimed, "Arg, what's this? How could it taste so good? Let me try." Zhang Lin took the kettle from Yang Yuankang and also engulfed 2 mouths without any hesitation. After that, Zhang Lin's eyes radiated shimmering lights. Zhu Wenqiang, who was beside Zhang Lin, raised his nose. As he smelt that refreshing fragrance, he started to drool. Seeing Zhang Lin drink 4 mouthfuls of that solution, he finally couldn't stand it and grabbed Zhang Tai's kettle. "Let me have a try." With this taste, even Zhu Wenqiang's eyebrows raised. Looking at Senior Chen's sad look with frowning forehead, Zhang Tai couldn't stand but said, "Senior Chen, would you like to try it?" In that period, Senior Chen's rheumatism was showing its effect once again. This disease was due to his long time stay in the water and the seaside. He had eaten many kinds of medicine, yet none of them took effect. Therefore, he was tortured and looked bad every day. Even now, his knees were still aching heavily. Previously Senior Chen didn't want to drink it, however, hearing Zhang Tai's suggestion and looking at the other guy's movements, Senior Chen also became a bit curious. "Let me have a try." Zhang Tai's kettle was then passed to Senior Chen. Zhu Wenqiang and the other guys didn't grab that with Senior Chen considering his age. After a mouth, Senior Chen was shocked. Then, under the widening eyes of the others who were forcefully their saliva, Senior Chen bottomed up the kettle. Not bad." Senior Chen smacked his lips while nodding his head. Seeing the solution being cleaned, they all went into the seawater one by another. Although they felt it was good, none of them thought too much about that. However, only after an hour, Senior Chen found the aches in his knees were gradually disappearing while a wholly new sense of vitality and warmth seemed to spread inside his body. After being tortured by rheumatism all over for many years, it felt like a long-dried land welcoming sweet dew. Senior Chen was full of pleasure inside. "What's happening?" 5 hours later, Zhu Wenqiang felt a bit strange as he would definitely feel hungry and tired at this time in usual days. How could he not feel as hungry and as tired as he previously did?